Hi, welcome to another edition of the Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm Ross Benjamin, as always, joined by my cohort, Mr. Chip Chirimbes, Las Vegas professional sports handicapper extraordinaire. It's Thursday, January 21st. And Chip, we're going to be discussing the NFL conference championship games. And I think, in my opinion, the four best teams are there.
I agree. I was going to say that. We've maybe Tampa Bay wasn't seeded as high as New Orleans, but they certainly got the best of them when they played. So um, it's going to be a great matchup. We've got four great teams here right now, and it's very interesting. Like we were discussing earlier, Mahomes' situation and the fact that the Packers are at home. It's going to be an interesting weekend in the NFL. And Ross, I'm so sick that this season has just flown by.
I know it's you worried about getting the whole season in, both college football and the NFL, although college football left a lot to be desired with all the cancellations. But you got to give the NFL credit. They did a fantastic job with this. And hopefully by this time next year, Chip, we'll be talking about a sold-out crowd in the conference championship games, a sold-out crowd in the Super Bowl, and things get back to normal. And I think everybody in the country wants to see that happen, not just in the world of sports betting, but life in general,
Right.
so we can go on with our lives in a normal capacity. Anyway, Chip, a couple interesting side notes here. We discussed Drew Brees on many occasions, me and you off air, and we said that, he doesn't really, there's something missing there. And he never had the strongest arm, but he really looks terrible. And today his wife comes out with a statement and says he's been playing with a torn rotator cuff all year long. Did you read that?
No, I wasn't aware of that, but that sounds like a valid explanation.
Yeah.
But the problem here for me, Ross, is if he's playing all that time and I'm betting on games on him being healthy and he's not healthy, I'm really not too pleased at hearing that right now. This is the first I've heard of it, and I don't like it.
I mean, he also had something in his foot that was torn as well, something to do with plantar fasciitis, some version thereof. So he definitely, not only was it his arm strength was depleted because of that rotator cuff, but he wasn't able to push off with his one foot.
Well, Russ, I understand gamesmanship, like in golf, but they are supposed to make the public know that there are injuries, and because this industry that we are in is huge, there's a lot of money. And what this is telling me is that once again, the shield has been tainted. I mean, usually the NFL is really good on injury.
Yes, they are.
But what you're telling me right now is their integrity again has been questioned. He's not healthy, and you're putting him out there for what reason? I mean, maybe Taysom Hill, if he had stuck around, would have been a different story for the Saints.
Yeah, and I would want more confirmation on that, because you're right, Chip. I mean, that's ludicrous if the Saints in general held back that information.
Torn rotor cuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of important, when it has to do with your quarterback.
Yeah.
So anyway, now the other thing, and we're going to get to this game, but the Patrick Mahomes situation. Here's my take. Kansas City opened at 3, and I think that's an honest line. If the Bucs thought that he was anywhere in jeopardy of not playing in this game, I don't think they'd leave themselves this vulnerable, Chip. They came right out with a line right after the game ended.
Yeah.
And from all accounts, if he doesn't play, Buffalo could be anywhere around a 3.5-point favorite in this game.
Russ, I know that's been said and thrown around, but I really can't see it. Not when Kansas City's got at home, when they got the home field here.
Yeah.
And
you think I thought it would be around 4.5, 5.
Yeah. Well, we had discussed. I think that we think if once we get the clearance with Mahomes, most likely it's going to rise, and then we have to reevaluate where the money's coming at a different price. So it's all part of the business. But they weren't going to put a pick 'em out there, and they weren't going to put that other side as a favorite. And then all of a sudden,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's a safe net at 3, right? And possibly it could end up being 4.5 or 5, like I thought initially.
Right, me too.
But I think you were right along the same line, correct? You thought
I really was. And when I saw that number, 2.5, 3. I saw both numbers as first impression. And I don't know if you know that I didn't watch the second half of that Kansas City game, and I didn't know Mahomes was out. So my first impression is the line that Mahomes is healthy and that the line is 2.5. And I said, they're telling me that Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But as I learned, and everyone else had already known, Mahomes was hurt and injured, and he's questionable. And so that's the big variable here. That's the what we're going to say, the big monkey wrench.
Well, he practiced and took first team reps yesterday, and that's a good sign for Kansas City fans and Kansas City backers. But he still hasn't fully cleared the concussion protocol, so
Right.
We will see. And it leaves a little bit of uncertainty there, but I'm going to go out there and go out on a limb, Chip, and say I'm pretty sure he's going to play.
Yeah,
anyway.
I think so too. I think so too.
All right, so let's get right to the meat and potatoes here, Chip.
Okay.
We're going to start with the game between Green Bay and they're going to be hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game. And right now, Green Bay is a 3-point favorite, and the total in that game is either 51 or 51.5, depending on where you look. To me, this is another short number, Chip, with Green Bay
Yes.
at home. And you know what? I never realized this, that this will be the first time, from my understanding anyway, and I heard it on the HBO Inside the NFL, Showtime Inside the NFL yesterday, that Aaron Rodgers has never started at home in an NFC Championship game. And as I recall, didn't he start at home against the Giants the year the Giants?
No, that was Brett Favre, and he was on the sideline, and that was in 2007.
Okay.
And the Giants beat the Packers, and then went on to beat New England in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And this is a great matchup. It's a storyline here between a Hall of Fame quarterback that's playing for his 14th conference championship, and that's been to the Super Bowl 9 times. I mean, if you can get Tom Brady in a Super Bowl, you've got a storyline already built in.
Yeah.
Yet you have Aaron Rodgers, who I think is this year's MVP, and
hands down.
Look what Rodgers is great. He's absolutely fantastic. I mean, he moves better than Brady. He may throw the ball a little bit sharper, but Brady has that intrinsic quality of knowing how to win. Not that Rodgers doesn't, but he certainly does. But the Packers, remember this year, got up to a 10-0 lead in the second week of October against this team, and they were just annihilated.
Then Rodgers threw that pick 6 and to turn the whole game around.
Yeah, are we looking for Green Bay to atone for that, for them to mentally be ready? I mean, but then again, I have to think Tampa Bay's got to have a lot of confidence when you beat a team 38-10.
Now, here's the thing too. You had mentioned last week Green Bay has a very underrated running game, and boy, your statement was prolific if you looked at their win last week. Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams and Corey Dillon. No, not Corey Dillon. A.J. Dillon out of Boston College.
Right.
Terrific trio of running backs. However, they're going to be facing the number 1 run defense in the NFL, and they're also going to get their best run stopper back, from my understanding. Or at least he's questionable, which is a positive sign, in Vita Vea. So the Packers, if they're going to win this game, it's going to have to be through the air. And here's my take, Chip, and I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts. Right. Davante Adams is clearly the best wide receiver in this game. However,
what about your boy at Buffalo?
Well, no, in this game, this particular game. Let me be clear. Yeah. All right. But on the other hand, I think unequivocally Tampa Bay's group of wide receivers far exceeds the Packers in terms of quality depth. Your take?
Is Brown out for the Buccaneers?
I mean, but it doesn't matter. They got they got Godwin, they got Evans, they got that kid Miller out of the slot. Their tight ends have been productive. So again, Green Bay's backup wide receivers, they've chipped in at times this year, but it's pretty much been a Davante Adams show. And that's going to be crucial, because if they can't run the ball like most teams can't against Tampa Bay, they're going to have to win in the air. And I just can't see Davante Adams going off again. I keep saying that, but he does.
He does, because Rodgers gets the ball to him. I mean,
Yeah.
this guy always presents the ball to you in a catchable position. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're
Yeah.
cutting across the middle, you don't have to throw. He doesn't. You don't have to reach back behind you, which is such a difficult catch. Rodgers always seems to be there with that, and maybe he only needs one guy because he gets rid of the ball so quick, Ross. I mean, bang, he just gets it out there, and he's got plenty of zip on the ball too. That's for sure.
Boy, and and you look at when I watch Green Bay, um, and I watch Buffalo. The two wide receivers in the league that stand out to me,
Yeah.
and I watch a lot of NFL. Trust me. Uh, when these guys are open, there's no defender at the screen, so that tells me they're tremendous at getting separation. So
Yeah.
not only is Rodgers getting rid of the ball quick, but Devontae Adams is probably in the top three, if not the top, in terms of separation. And, in his defense, Buffalo, Diggs had a great year, but he's got a pretty good supporting cast, that wide receiver. And I'm not making light of the rest of the Green Bay wide receivers, but from top to bottom, he doesn't get the kind of help that Stephon Diggs does in Buffalo and opening up the field. So even
Yeah.
more impressive, Chip.
Yeah. Well, like we said before, this Josh Allen can get the ball to anybody, anywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
he can
Rodgers is the same thing. So, I mean, it almost looks like a young Aaron Rodgers out there, and we haven't got to the Buffalo game yet. The total is up to 51.5. I'm seeing a lot of overact as far as volume of bets goes. Right now, as we speak, the source that I use and you also use right now is showing 77% of the individual bets on the total have gone to the over, yet only 41% of the money. So it has gone up from 51 to 51.5. Of course, we got to keep an eye on the weather. These are both cold weather sites where the game's going to be played. Games are going to be played, I should say, this week. So any take on the total off the top of your
They
head?
got great quarterbacks here. I understand the public's instinct and looking to play the game over the total. And yet you said, even though there's more volume of bets going over, that
Yep.
there's more money on the under, which means that the sharps and the wise guys think that defense is going to be up front.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. But usually, what makes me hesitant there is when the sharps and wise guys are on something. Usually, the line goes the other way, and this one went up. So, this is one of those circumstances. This is a tough call right now for me at this particular juncture. I'm going to wait till at least Saturday on this, Chip, on both games, because
So there's no question about that. We want to make the right move here.
yeah.
Particularly after, I had a sour weekend last week after being 10-2 wild card weekend. And last week was just 4-4. 4 sides all went down. 4 totals, all won. So maybe we should just turn to totals, but that happens.
And you're a guy that was never playing totals up until
No, and it seemed to have salvaged me a little bit now.
Yeah. Well, the old adage for me is this, quite simple. If you take the totals away from your daily handicapping, you're eliminating half the board, and that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say stupid,
Well,
but
when I see a game with a number on it, I have a feel for it. I can see and I can think. I know how the public, maybe the storyline would interpret this game. When I see a total, I don't get that same image coming back. I said, say in that Alabama game where the line was so ridiculously high, I had to play over, and they went over 76. So it's harder for me to decipher personally, even though I've been successful, Russ. Ross, you know that. It's just I usually don't get that first impression like I do on a side. So
there was a time there I was going to rename your website from chipwins.com to chipalwayswins.com. Anyway, before we get to the Buffalo and Kansas City game, Chip, tell the people a little bit about where they can get your picks, how you've been doing of late.
Okay, thank you very much, Ross. Right now, anyone can purchase any of my selections at a very reasonable price at chipwins.com. And you just follow the buy links, and you either get a 3-pack of the NBA or NCAA, which I put out just about every day. And then, of course, the weekend we have the football. Had some really great run where we've hit 4 straight days in the NBA now, and we've hit 3 straight Megabuck winners in college basketball. So the games seem to be falling into place right now. I have a 3-pack up there on Thursday night, and we're just ready to go.
Chipwins.com. That's where you can get his daily and his subscription packages. And again, Chip's one of the best handicappers and has been for many years. And I know that sounds like I'm blowing smoke, but it's not. I mean, I wouldn't be working with this guy if I didn't think he was credible and honest, and gives you a great product. You could find me at rbwins.com. And I know we're talking football today, but basketball has been red hot for me of late, 11-5 in the last 16 in the NBA. College basketball, 19-10 with my last 29, had a nice winner with Wisconsin last night, had another winner in the NBA with the 76ers over the Celtics. And talking about totals, Chip, my totals in all sports right now, 12-4 with my last 16 and 20-8 with my last 28. And if anybody's been following me for a while, and Chip knows himself from working with me, that, I'm using probably 30 to 40% of my plays over the course of a month are totals. And again, I'm a firm believer. You add those totals into the mix, it gives you more to choose from, and it gives you a better opportunity to find good betting value. I know you hate that word, Chip. Anyway.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about when I say value. When people think that they made a mistake with the line, and we know that doesn't happen too often.
All right, let's get to the nightcap on Sunday, 6:40 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. The Buffalo Bills travel to Arrowhead Stadium. There'll be 17,000 strong there in Kansas City. Chipper, the weather forecast that I saw this morning looks terrible. It looks like there's going to be some rain that may change to snow. And if it's not rain, it's going to start the game with, if it's not rain, it's the cold that's going to affect the game as well. And, you look back at the earlier matchup, Chip, and that's a similar type of weather conditions that we saw in Buffalo early this year when Kansas City walked away with a 26-17 win. Since that time, by the way, the Buffalo Bills have gone 11-1 in their last 12. So right now, Chipper, Kansas City, a 3-point favorite, and 54 is a total right across the board. What's your take?
Well, I think the line is meager. We discussed that, and that most likely because of the status of Mahomes. They don't, and it's hard to gauge without Mahomes being there. Obviously, Kansas City, if they have to go with Henny, is certainly going to look to play a defensive game. And you said the weather possibly affecting this game. I think that would give an edge to the Bills, considering Allen played at Wyoming, where it was always raw and cold, and now he's in Buffalo. So not that he's had to play through so many snow days and things like that, but I just think he may have a slight edge with that as far as well, I don't want to say toughness, because this Mahomes can play.
Well, on the other side of the argument there, he wasn't very good in the Kansas City game at home when the weather was terrible. But a lot of that had to do too. His statistics were down, but people don't realize Kansas City controlled the clock in that game. They ran for a ton of yards. And I hope Buffalo takes a different approach defensively, Chip, because in that game, what they basically said is you're gonna have to throw the ball underneath, be patient, and be methodical going down the field. And Mahomes was, he still passed for over 250 yards in that game. And Kansas City had their way on the ground. I mean, if they run the ball the way they did in that first meeting, Buffalo will be in trouble. But we'll see. The running games are going to be. I mean, I know Buffalo is. Last week they only ran the ball 16 times and only twice in the first half. Chip, they're going to have to run the ball a little more in this one.
Yeah, well, the thing about Mahomes is I really think he's a winner. He knows how to win. He plays to win. He's not just going through the motions out there. We've seen it. We have seen it. And I think he's one of the greats. He really do it. If he stays healthy, I mean, he's only played, 2 years, 3 years. We're going to put him in the Hall of Fame right now. But he's so impressive. He gets rid of the ball on the move. He's very, very accurate. And his agility really helps open things up with that speed that they have with those little guys on the Chiefs.
I got to look up my database, but I can't recall when the two conference championship games both had a total over 50. So it's the day and age we live in now, Chip. Look at these four quarterbacks: Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. And the least established of the four quarterbacks is Josh Allen. He's enjoyed a terrific season. So a lot to look forward to on Sunday, Chipper. All right,
I'm wondering.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm just wondering. This is the first big game pressure situation Allen
Yes.
has been in, and
Yes.
he's on the road. So, you don't know how they're going to react. They say like a racehorse is until they get out there on the course the first
Right.
time. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a pressure game for him, and not that he can't. Now that he can't live up to it, I wouldn't be surprised if he had another great game. I told you just the way he handles himself now. To me, it's day and night compared to when he first got into the league, and it's going to be a great game. Buffalo has won 5 of the last 6 times they've been to Kansas City, and the road teams won 8 of the last 10 meetings. I don't recall these two teams actually going head to head that often, so I was kind of surprised to find those numbers. But at Kansas City, it looks like the Bills have had the best of it.
Yeah, they played him in 2017, which was Sean McDermott's first year, and they beat him in Kansas City as a substantial underdog.
Yeah.
To your point, that was a playoff team for Buffalo, even though they only went 9-7 that year. They backed in. Yeah, Josh Allen. One would argue, well, he just played 2 pressure games, but folks, both of those games were at home.
Yeah.
This will be the first time Buffalo plays a road game in front of this many people this year. And as we well know, Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, those fans could really whoop it up. It's one of the louder venues in the NFL. And we saw last week in Buffalo with just 6,700 people. It seemed like there's 67,000 there with the
Yeah.
crowd noise. So at this time of year, fans are amped up, and we'll see. I mean, it's a good point how he reacts in this situation. Will he be able to step up to the challenge?
You
Um, but I really, really looking forward to these 2 games. Chip, before we sign off, yeah, you have a free pick for the folks?
on a football weekend, or would you like for me to give you a basketball winner today? I can play Penn State over Rutgers tonight.
Okay.
They're really Penn State's been absolutely horrible. They lost their coach. They've lost a number of players, but I just think it's a spot for them because Rutgers has also hit a major slide. People just got so enamored with the Scarlet Knights when they posted a couple of Big Ten victories early in the season, but now I guess everyone's coming back to norm, shall we say? So it's Penn State's not a really good basketball team, but I just think it's a spot for them to win.
I think Tampa Bay is the better team in the NFC matchup. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the entire resume, certainly Green Bay's got the better record. But as far as what I've seen with my eye test over the last 5 or 6 weeks, they have it rolling right now, Chip. And if they get Vita Vey back, they're going to be that much tougher against the run. And I think Tampa Bay's the play here at +3 against Green Bay. That's my free pick for NFL Championship weekend.
You know
Until the
what?
next, go ahead.
I was going to say that number 3 is very inviting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you may have something there, and I think that the money is going to come on Green Bay. So with that number at 3, they're really looking forward to it. Uh, Aaron Rodgers.
And this opened at 4, by the way, Chip. So
What was that?
it opened at 4.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering about that game. They're really giving Tampa a lot of credence here, I think.
Yeah. I mean, again, as opposed to the Kansas City Buffalo game where you have the uncertainty with Mahomes, there's no uncertainty
No.
as far as availability, especially at the quarterback position. So I'm going to have a small lean at this point on Tampa Bay. That's a free pick, folks. I mean, I'm not going to go the other way on you, but we'll see on Saturday if what I come up with for my picks, and you can get my NFL championship game picks on Sunday at rbwins.com. Again, Chip's picks at chipwins.com, otherwise known as chipalwayswins.com. Again, folks, until the next time, we'll be back tomorrow, by the way. We're going to have a college basketball special tomorrow night, which will give out some free picks in college basketball's huge Saturday card. Until the next time, I'm Ross Benjamin, and for Chip Chirimbes, good luck and God bless.